Today we are going to discuss about the control template, data template, and items panel template. These are all the three templates. These are all the very important and compulsory one interview question. They are directly going to ask in interview what is data templates. You need to explain the data templates. So my dear friends, let's start about the first is control template. So what exactly this control template? So now before going to start this thing, let me open the paint so that let me explain the problem, then we are going to come to these topics. So what is control template is nothing but, so we have seen in WPF and desktop applications, Winforms, we have a button something like this or something like this. But I want these all the buttons we have, right? So we can have like this button or like this button. We can create a button like this or like this. So now I want button something like that is a very difficult, very different, like something like this. So this kind of buttons I want. So to get this kind of buttons in the WinForms, it's very difficult. So whereas in WPF you can achieve easily. So this kind of buttons. So how to achieve this kind of buttons? So that's the reason we have in WPF control templates. So with the help of these control templates, we can easily get this kind of buttons. So now we are going to see practically. So let's move to the Visual Studio. Let's see the exactly the things step by steps we are going to discuss. So let me comment out this code. So now let me go to the step by steps things. Yes. So this is the old kind of button. So to save the time, I have already code. So you can see here. Let me rebuild application. Some errors. Comment out this code currently. So now let me rebuild application. Now let me run the application. So now you can see here I have a button. This is the normal kind of buttons. So now how to achieve this kind of buttons? I want this kind of buttons. We have seen this kind of buttons, right? So how to achieve that one? Let me explain you. Let me write it down the code first, then I will explain you. So let me go to the first, let me write it down, then I will explain you in the code. Now let me rebuild. Let me run the application. You can see here I will get this kind of buttons. So let me print something. Let me write it down some events. So click event. Let me write some click event. This is the click event. Message box dot show. Click. Now let me rebuild application. Let me run the application. Now you can see here button click event. This is a button. So we can achieve this kind of button. So how to achieve this kind of buttons with the help of this control template. So how to write the code, I will going to explain you the code. So this is the XAML code, my dear friends. This is the button. In that button I have a template. I can create any kind of template for the particular control. This is a button, right? That's why I need to write the button dot template. In that I'm writing the control template. The target type should be matched with the button. This is the button, right? I need to match the target type. For example, if I want to be change this target button to text, it not work. So this control type should be matched. And I need to write the grid. Again, I am writing the ellipse, and I am giving the width and this one. I am here. It has a two eclipse. You can see here. One is another color. I have another color. Two eclipse are there. You can see here brown and something like this. So now the content presenter I'm giving something like this. So this is the things, my dear friends. Using control templates, you can achieve this kind of buttons in WPF. So this is all about the control template. Now let's move to the our next topic. So data template. This is very important. What is data templates? What is item panel template? These all the two are very important. Compulsory interview questions. They are going to ask you what is data template. You need to explain in WPF. Now let's start. Data templates is nothing but, my dear friends, if you want to bind any kind of list in grid view, if you want to bind any kind of list in WPF, you have a special kind of data templates. Now let's look at the actual problem, then we are going to discuss. So normally in Windows application, if you want to bind the any kind of grids, you should have to know. Let me go to the code. Let me explain you. So this is my list box. So now this is my list box is there. I want to bind. So how to bind this list box? So let me bind this list box one. So let me bind the list box first. I will explain you. So let's discuss first the problem, then we are going to discuss about it. Yes. So now this is my list box is there. So I want to bind this list box. So how to bind this list box? We're going to see that one. So wait 1 second. Let me explain it. Yeah. So the idea is this is my list box. So how to bind this list box in for example, if you are in WinForms, if you want the directly this list box, you need to create one list, and directly we need to write the code something like that. List dot data source equal to some list. So that is the way in writing in WinForms. So you can easily bind the list box. So now the thing is in WPF you cannot do like that. So how to bind the list box? To bind the list box, you need to have a, this is very important, this data templates you need it. So how to bind the list box? We are going to see the code. We are going to go through all the codes. Then I will explain you. So now let me first write the code and then I will explain you. So this is the grid. So let me run the application. Then I will explain you how to bind out. Don't worry about the code thing. So first understand the concept. Understanding the concept is very important. So first let me run the application. Let me run the application, then I'm going to explain you the code. So let me rebuild this application. So rebuild succeeded. So let me run this application. Yes, you can see this. So this is the way of binding. This is the way of binding list box. This is the image. This is, you can see here. This is the image and this is the text. So now let me go through the each of the code line. I will explain you. So what is the data template? I'm going to explain each and everything. Please be with me. So you can have it in list box. You can see here list box, how to write the data templates and all. That is very, very important. So now let me let me zoom it so that I can explain you very carefully. Please be with me. So now this is the list box. So my dear friends, to to bind the any kind of the list box in WPF, you need to have this data template. It's a compulsory. Without this, you cannot bind. I mean to say that if you bind also, you will not get any data. For example, let me comment out this code. Let me show you what exactly the problem, that why we need a data templates. I'm going to explain you. Let me comment out this code and let me rebuild the application. I'm going to show you the actual problem without having any data templates. So now let me run the application. See, this is the problem. This is the problem. If you don't have any data templates in WPF, you are not able to bind. You can only bind the class values, but you can see here you are not able to display the actual values. Earlier you have seen that actually the exact output, the books, the image and the text and all these things. But without this data template, you can see you cannot bind the values. So that is the problem. So if for example, if you're in Windows application without data templates, you can easily bind. So just you need to have a list box dot data source equal to that list. You can easily bind you can easily bind without this data templates. But whereas in WPF, you should must have these data templates. That's important. Now let me uncomment and let me explain. So this is the problem without having the data template. To bind any list or any grid something, you should have this data templates. So hope you got an idea about the importance about the data templates. This is the problem without having any data templates in WPF. So now let's try to understand this code in WPF. First, let me understand the code. Then we are going to see. This is the items panel. What exactly this items panel? How many columns you want? For example, currently it is 3. No, let me explain. The item panel is nothing but, you have seen the rows, right? Column 1, 2, 3. So you have seen the 3 books. So if you want the 3 columns, 2 columns, 3, that's all you can do. So just you need to give that number. That's it. That's called item panels. Items panel. Now next is list box dot. How to write the code is list box. This is a list box, right? So you need to write down that list box dot item template. Item template is, you need to write list box dot item template. Then you need to write the data templates. This is important. Data template. So in data template, you need to bind all the class values. Now you can see here, I can have a stack panel. I am binding the image, giving the image name. Stack panel, I am giving the bind name. What is the names? And basically I have a 3 properties, the class properties. One is cover image, book name and author. These are the 3 values I want to display in list box. So that you need to display here. First time stack panel, image, stack panel. In stack panel, I am displaying the name of the book and name of the author. These all the three I'm explaining. So now this is the item template. This is all about the XAML code, my dear friends. Listbox doc, item template, and data templates. These all the things. Now let's move to the code. So now you can see here same thing. I should have one list box. I'm binding the list box. These all the values. Let me this code. This is the class book. I have a class, and I'm binding the values to the all the classes. Currently, I'm hard coded. These all the values. You can have bind these values with the data base also. So now this is all the list I'm binding, and after the filling this list, I'm binding this list to the that template, data template dot item source. So that's it about my this code, my dear friends. Let me put the breakpoint and let me explain you. Now let me run the application. First I'm binding the book. You can see here. Let me go to the code. This is the list I'm binding. I'm hard coding these values. So now I have a list of 4 values. You can see here all the values, name, book, something like that. I'm binding to this. Now you can see here the output. So you have seen, right, without this data templates you cannot able to display the data. With the help of this data templates only you can display the data. So now you can see here currently it was displaying 3 rows, right, 3 columns, 1 2 3. Now I would like to display only 2 columns. Now let's see. So how to achieve that one I explained you, right? So just you need to go here, you need to change the columns equal to, currently it was 3, you can change this to 2. So in item panel template you can do the settings. Just remember item template panel. So now let me rebuild this. Let me run the application. Let me run this application. Now you can see you are displaying the 2 columns. So that's it about the data templates, my dear friends. So now let me go to the today's session. Item templates panels I explained you, right? This is the item templates panel. Yeah, this is the only item templates panel templates. Yeah. So we have explained the control template. I have explained the data templates. Once again, summarize all these things. Control templates is nothing but we have seen for the button, right? So if you want to do some customization to the button, any control, so you need to have some panel like that control template. So we have seen the example for the button. So now the second is data templates. Data templates is a special type of templates in WPF. For example, if you want to bind any kind of list, the data, so with the help of this data templates, you can easily bind the all the values with the help of this data templates. So you can easily display all the items like images and text and all these things. Without data templates, you cannot fill all the list and all these things. So this is all about the data templates. So now we have seen the items panel template. Items panels templates is nothing but it is useful for to displaying the how many columns in the list. So that's it about the these 3 topics. Now today we are going to discuss about one more very important is tree view control. Tree view control is very important. What is tree view control? We are going to see. So let me comment out this all the code. I will explain you. So let me draw first and then I will explain you. Tree view control. It's very important. So we have so many times we have seen the tree view controls. I'm going to explain you the code. Let me comment out this also. What is tree view control? We are going to explain. In WPF, you have a one special kind of control that is a tree view. So let me rebuild. So this code is no needed. Let me comment out this code. Let me uncomment. First, let me run the application. Then I'm going to explain you each and everything. So build succeeded. Let me run. Okay. Let me uncomment this code. I will explain you the code. Don't worry about the code. First, let's see the output. Then I'm going to explain you the code. Yes, this is the tree control. So now you can see here, I'm binding. This is the tree control. This is called tree control. This is the parent and this is the child item. So what exactly this tree control, where it will be useful, I will explain you. For example, you want to be display something like this. Practically, I'm giving the example. So let me clear out all this. Where exactly useful this tree controls are very useful. Tree controls are very useful. I am telling you practically. I have implemented in one of the project. So you have a something scenario like that. uh, okay. So this is the tree control I'm explaining you. The scenario where exactly the tree controls are going to be used practically. I'm explaining you. So you have a something requirement, something like that. This is the state, and let me write it down. Okay, 1 second. So now I have a requirement, something like that. I want to display something like that. I want to display the state, and based on the state, I want to bind what are the districts are available. Then I want to bind in the districts which are the villages are there. So for example, you have a state something. Let's assume Telangana is there, some district is there, villages. So that kind of I want to display. So with the help of this tree control, I can display like this. So you can see here the parent, you can replace the parent with the state names. Like you can have a states, two states. You can have a Telangana, you can have a Andhra Pradesh. Then inside you can, again you can display the districts like Hyderabad, Mehboob Nagar, Nizamabad, something like that. Again in Andhra Pradesh also you can display something like that. You can have a different childs like in Andhra Pradesh, Guntur, something like that. Again in different districts, again you can display. So that kind of things you can display with the help of this tree view control. So tree view controls are very important in WPF. So these are the way you can display the tree, the views. These are the information you can easily display in the tree view controls. So now let's go to the code. Let's understand how to bind this kind of things. So let me go to the first. Let me explain the XAML. So this is the tree view. You need to write the tree view, and item template. You need to write the hierarchy. So you have a hierarchical data templates. You need to explain the data templates name. So this template is important. And one more point, this I can write here. So item templates and hierarchical templates. These all the actually in WPF you have a 4 types of templates. One is control template, data templates, item panel template, and you have a hierarchical data template. So these all the 4 templates are supported in WPF. Please remember 4 types of the templates supported in WPF. One is control template, data template, item panel template, and fourth is hierarchical data templates. So now, so how to bind these child names? You can easily bind the child items, and you can display you can see here. These all the preview items you are binding. So filling the color is red. You can do whatever the colors you want. So now this is the XAML changes. So now let's switch to the, this is the list. Child items name is something list. Just your list you are binding. In list you are mentioning all the child and all these things. So now let's go to the code. Let's understand how to bind these things. So you can see here, I have created the 2 classes. One is for a parent class and child classes. So you can create inside the parent, you can have a child. You can see, let's go to this code class. You can see here in the class you can have a, first you need to have a child class, and list of the child items you can have in the one class, parent class. So title name something like this. So let's go to the here. You can see here. First you can bind the child name. One more point is one more point is currently I'm doing all these things hard coded. So tomorrow it is maybe it is not going to be hard coded. It is need to be come from the database, and you can bind all the values. So you can see here, and after parent 1 and parent 2 I'm binding. You can see here, this is the main actual list, the parent list. I'm binding the 2 values, and after that finally I'm binding this TreeView dot item source equal to parent. So that's it about the binding, my dear friends. This is all about the TreeView control. So summarize all these things today's session. So today we have discussed about the very important 4 templates. One is control template, data templates, items panel template, and hierarchical data templates. So this is the way control templates is nothing but we have seen. For example, you have a normal button, you want to customize your button templates. For that purpose, we have a control templates. Data templates, I explained you right. Data templates is nothing but how to bind the list we have seen. Item templates is nothing but how many columns you want. Hierarchical data templates we have seen for the tree view control. So that's it, my dear friends, today's session. So if you have a doubts in this today's session, please let me know. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.